Canada is amazing. And here's why I love Canada. Here's why I'm staying in Canada. Here's why I retired in Canada. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for you. I'm just kind of joking around here, but Canada is amazing. A lot of people like to shit on Canada. Oh, Canada's got high taxes. Canada sucks. If I'm a Canadian, I want to retire in Costa Rica. I want to retire in Hawaii. I want to retire in Cambodia. I want to retire in Thailand. I want to retire in China. I want to go to Europe. Oh, Canada sucks. Canada's this. Canada's that. Canada is amazing. And here's why I love Canada. Here's why I'm staying in Canada. Here's why I retired in Canada. I'm actually from London, Ontario, Canada, and I think London, Ontario is an amazing place. I think it's going to be in the next 5 to 10 years a great city from an environmental perspective, just great people. I also think I'm hoping it's going to become the Mecca for FIRE, for financial independence, retiring early. We have a group of 500 people here in the local London network that meet up once a month, and we have a great Facebook group. It's a fantastic area if you love personal finance, financial independence. We're all working towards not having to work. And so as one of the founders of London on Fire, I'm a huge proponent of London, Ontario, Canada if you're looking for a place in Canada. But let's talk about why Canada is amazing. So Canada is amazing because it has so many advantages that nowhere else in the world has. For one, Canada is a very natural resource-rich country. We aren't necessarily entirely capitalist, we aren't communist, we're sort of socialist, we're sort of in the middle. We're a very fair country. We have free healthcare. If you get cancer in Canada, it's taken care of. If your arm gets cut off, it's taken care of. If you fall and snap your neck, you go to the hospital, it's taken care of. That's an amazing thing. I whip out my health card and everything's taken care of. There's no health insurance. I mean, other than like the dentist or the eye doctor, which until you're 25 in Canada is entirely free. But after 25, there actually are still programs you can apply to, but that's another thing. You have low income to qualify for those things. But Canada has some amazing programs. Let's talk about some social programs that Canada has. You probably already know about these, but there is the EI program, employment insurance. If you lose your job in Canada and you've been planning into EI, so you worked in consulting or whatever, and you lose your job, you get laid off, you get fired for no cause, downsized at work, whatever, the government of Canada will provide you up to, I think it's 37 weeks of pay at 55%, up to a maximum of what you were earning before. I've collected EI before. It's an amazing program. We pay into it about, I think it's like 4% of our salary if we're eligible, and then we collect out. It potentially, it can really help you if you lose your job or you're between jobs. Employment insurance is an amazing thing in Canada. We have CPP, Canada Pension Plan. We have Old Age Security, OAS. When you reach the age of, you can start qualifying around 60, 62, but at the age of 65, you get the chance to collect Canada Pension Plan. So you get, I think it can be up to, if you're a couple grand a month for the rest of your life. That's pretty sweet. You can live on that. You don't even need to save for retirement in Canada. Just make around $55,000 a year, contribute to CPP, and then rely on that in retirement. If you're frugal in Canada, it's an amazing place to be. People talk about Canada having some of the highest taxes, right? Our highest marginal tax bracket is 50-something%. But if you're an early retiree, or you're smart about how you structure your income sources and your assets, Canada has some of the best tax advantages. For one, you could buy $1 million house in Toronto, Vancouver, wherever, and if it appreciates to $2 million over a 10-year period, or over even a 2-year period, you can then sell that house because you lived in it, it was your primary residence for more than 1 year, you can sell that and it's completely tax-free. You could house hack and sell the house, and it's completely tax-free. You can make millions of dollars in Canada by just moving into a new house every 2 or 3 years and selling that house for more, like buying it, renovating it, living in it, and then selling it. That's a great way to earn money in Canada. Our primary residences are tax-free, so a great way to avoid tax. Further, I'm going to talk about a strategy really quick. I'm not going to go into depth, but you can essentially bring in, as a couple, $50,000 each in Canadian eligible dividends and pay no tax. Zero. None. In fact, if you're bringing like $25,000 each in dividends, it's a negative tax rate. The government will pay you money because the corporations pay tax at a higher rate than you have to. In Canada, if you don't earn a lot of money, you don't pay any tax. The first you know, as a couple, the first 20-something thousand dollars you earn is completely tax-free. Zero tax. It's like 11,000, almost 12,000 per couple, completely tax-free. That's before you throw in any write-offs. That's before, you know, any of these other programs I talked about. That's before talking about dividend income. So Canada's an amazing country. You pay no tax if you're smart about it. My wife and I could bring in a ton of dividend income and passive income and almost pay no tax. Real estate is another cool way. There are a lot of ways to avoid tax. Not avoid tax. You still have to pay tax with earning money in real estate, but with write-offs and things like that, you can reduce your tax burden. If you're earning a ton of money in Canada, you will pay a ton of tax. There are ways around it. Talk to an accountant. I know some really great ones, so PM me if you want a good one in London, Ontario. Why is London great? People talk to me about going to Costa Rica. You know, the dream is to move to Costa Rica and live out their days in a low cost of living area on the beach with beautiful trees. That actually sounds amazing. Now that I think about it, I would love to be on the beach in Costa Rica during some of our cold winters in Canada. And I think I might. I'm still going to live in Canada, but I might go to Costa Rica for a month or two. But the key is having your primary residence in Canada so you have that free healthcare. In fact, if you're traveling, the Canadian government will cover certain procedures as well, as long as you still have your healthcare when you're a resident that spends more than 6 months a year in Canada. Canada's great because it's safe. See the point there. Places like Costa Rica, Thailand, I don't want to bring my daughter around at night. I remember when we were in Brazil and we were walking around at night, my daughter wasn't born yet, but I remember just thinking, this isn't a very safe country. The crime rate is much higher. I don't understand the culture here. I'm a foreigner. So as a Canadian, why would you want to leave the country in which you're most familiar, which your family lives, which your friends are here, your roots are here? I think Canada's an amazing place. We have some of the nicest people in the world. Canadians around the world, if you look at some surveys, Canadians are rated as some of the nicest people in the world. We're so friendly. If we bump into someone, it's sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You know, stuff like that. We're always apologizing. And so I really enjoy that culture. You don't get that in other places in the world the same way you do in Canada, especially in smaller cities. It's just amazing. Best education. We have free education for our children, and some of the public schools here are better than the private schools I've seen. So sometimes you'll find in Canada, great education. It's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. We have a beautiful mountain range. We have the most fresh water of any country, freshwater lakes of any country in the world, and they're beautiful, clean. I love to go swimming in places like around me. There are 45 minutes onto a lake on each side, Lake Erie and Lake Huron, and it's amazing. You know, there's just so many things. In London, Ontario, for instance, there are places like St. Thomas and outside of London where you can live for, you know, you can pick up a house for $150,000. Property taxes aren't very high. Utilities are not that high in Canada. People think they are, but if you don't consume a lot, I have like a $70 electricity bill and a $40 gas bill. Whippy, my internet bill is $35 a month. Canada is not a high cost of living place. It's actually relatively affordable. I could live on the same I could live in Costa Rica, in Canada, in a cute little house, or even with a duplex living scenario. So Canada's amazing. I don't know why everyone's shitting on Canada. I love Canada. What do you guys think? Do you love London, Ontario? Do you love Canada? What's so great about Canada? Is there anything that I missed that's amazing about Canada? Why wouldn't you want to retire in Canada at least 6 months of the year? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.